Good evening to all. How's everybody doing today? It is February 19th. The time it is 7:50 in the evening. It is a pleasure to be with you guys tonight. Um, the reason why I am doing this special broadcast to all of you guys is to let's talk. I will listen to your opinions. I will see your questions right here on the question mark, and also I will answer whatever you guys want to ask me. We are live on only on Facebook and in YouTube. This is the only two sections that we are live in. Um, you know, I've been thinking about the most aggravated and tragic coverages that we have done during these coverages that we did under the disastrous Biden administration. The current situation that is happening inside of the United States, it is a consequence of the Biden administration himself. It is no justification whatsoever for what they did. They completely destroyed the borders of the United States and took advantage of it. And they made billions of dollars out of it, making it a humanitarian business all around. Let me tell you something about this experience that I had. And it is clearly, it resembles in the most epicenter of experiences that I ever had. We have talked about the experiences that I had had before on the first coverage that I did in a war, invited by my mentor, Chuck Holton. And, he invited me to go and do the coverage in Ukraine, do the coverage in the borders with Gaza, in the borders with Syria, the borders with Lebanon, inside of Jordan. He has clearly had trusted me with all this, responsibility of information. But inside of this jungle, where it was the epicenter of the most dangerous place for migrants, I have openly talked about this experience in Spanish. I have never done it in English. And I clearly wanted to do it in English so people will understand and grasp a little bit of why there was so many journalists asking me that they wanted to go inside of the Darien. And when I saw their intentions, I was like, you just want to clicks and likes. You don't want to help the actual situation. If you wanted to go in there, it is because you actually wanted to do a purpose of helping and informing of the catastrophe that it was happening under the Biden administration. And I hope that I don't, bore you guys with this story. But it was let me refer to the second time that we went in there. I had talked about the third time in Spanish. And also I had talked about in the second time in Spanish, and the fourth time, and I had talked about it in Spanish. Never talked about my experiences in English. Never expressed and openly said about what is going on and what we experienced inside of the Darien, Ben Berquam and myself. Knowing that we accomplished something that it was clearly impossible, Ben and I decided to go back on the second time. And I will explain this second time with detail. On our second time that we went back, Ben wanted to do it on the Emburse route. That it was clearly something that it was extremely difficult going against the current. And the territory was more damaging going against that than coming down with it. So it was clearly difficult, extremely difficult. I'm not going to lie. Second time that he told me that he wanted to do it on the Emburse route, I said, you know what? It's difficult. It's really difficult. And he said, we need to prepare ourselves more physically, Blue. Last time you were having a lot of cramps and you had a hard time on the last day, And the first time and the third day that we were inside of the jungle, I did not want it. My body was not taking water and it was not taking food. So clearly my body was in dehydration and extreme exhaustion. And second time we arrived to Panama. And the time that, we arrived in Panama, because of the multiple reports that I did in Spanish, it opened the door with the authorities a lot, because we told a story that nobody else was telling, that it was the side of the right the side of law and order, the side of the authorities, the side of not pandering to these cartel, groups, not pandering to the traffickers, not pandering to these, disgusting groups of NGOs and international organizations that it would just take making billions of dollars out of this humanitarian crisis. So it was completely different for us. And we started doing reports in Spanish, a thing that the left did not like it at all. They were like, here we go. This Oscar Blue guy went inside the Darien. It's going to get, it's going to be a pain in the butt now that he has access to go in there. He's going to tell the other side of the story that we are not telling. And it is not going to be nice. And shortly, it was not nice, because my whole point was to expose the reality of what the people were going through, our people were going through, expose the reality of these NGOs, how they were making billions of dollars out of human misery, expose the reality of these criminal organizations and cartels, how they were taking advantage of human life, and expose the reality of how they were basically attacking a government instead of fixing a problem. So we went down there. As soon as I went down there, I bought an axe on the 511 store, and it was a gift for one of the lieutenants that we talked to last time. And this is why in some of the videos on the second time in the Darien, you see me with a patch in my thumb, specifically this thumb. I bought an axe, and it had a secure lock. And as I was, giving him to him, I wanted to move the axe from the secure lock, and I moved it incorrectly, and I cut my thumb, and I almost cut it all, my finger. I was with Matthew Tomlin, my brother, on Panama. Ben was not there. Ben was arriving on the next day. And I gave it to him. And immediately I got the call from the head of communications from the authorities of Panama. And they told me, Oscar, we want to interview you on your journeys that you did on the first time and the things that you documented on the first time. Why don't you come to the military station of Medevac and we can talk? It was the first time that we granted access to this military station. It was big, huge for us. And I called Ben and I said, guess what? We have an interview. We're going to get access. And we're going to get an interview inside of the Medevac military station. I accomplished that for the network, for us. And he said, man, that's great. That's awesome, Oscar. The only thing is they're going to do an interview in Spanish to me. And to you, if you want to interview the head of communications, you can do it. She actually speaks fluent English. He said, that's okay. So we went in there. They drove us in there. They gave us full access to the military station. We entered the military station. They were waiting for us, the whole military of Center Front. They greeted us with respect because of the enormous reports that we did for law and order on the first trip. And on the second time, we were greeted. We did an interview, and they asked us, what happens if you face adversity inside of the jungle? And I said, well, it's God. There's always God on those adversities. I don't trust nobody. I don't trust my instincts. I don't trust Ben's instincts. I don't trust the military's instincts. I trust God. That's the only thing. So I always have this in my gut. Should I go for it or not? And when my gut tells me go for it, has always worked because I always ask God, should I go for it or not? She said, okay. So on that same day, they drove us into the part of Lajas Blancas, that is the departure where we were going back to the jungle. We got onto the Piragua boat. The Piragua boat ride from that village to go to the jungle, inside of the jungle, it is 3 hours. So it's kind of exhausting to go and sitting down on a piragua. But for me, it was always, as a personal experience, is the thing that I miss the most. Being on the piragua boat, touching the water of the jungle, putting my hat, my hat that I had on the jungle. Same hat, 4 trips, same hat. And putting the hat on the water and putting it back on. It was one of the most satisfying, opportunities that I have had in my life. The network has provided us for so many opportunities to go to different places and to cover or these international, crises. And it was 3 hours. We get there to the migrant camp of Bajo Chiquito, and it was full and it was packed. There was like possibly 7 to 10,000 migrants in there. And every single one of them, they were complaining about getting robbed, they were getting raped, they were getting robbed, raped, abused, hurt, punched. Some of them, they say that they got killed in the mountains. So the whole, group that it was with Lieutenant Guerra, that he was the one in charge of this small platoon of 6 center front angels of the jungle. These guys that you see behind right here. This is Guerra right here. This right here is Guerra. And he's the head of that. So every time that we go in there, he used to weigh our bags, right, to see if we are doing good with the weight. And he is the one that says, you're good or you're not good. This is too much weight. You're going to be exhausted. So my weight, it was okay. Ben's backpack is always heavy. He's 6'5". So, we know that he can handle a lot of weight, but sometimes he's stubborn and we say, that's too much weight, Ben. And he says, no, it's okay. I can do it. So, we started walking with all the claims of interviews that we did before we started walking in. It was all the migrants that were there that were complaining. We just got robbed. We just got raped. We just got robbed. We just got raped. It's a lot of people that they were saying that. And it was so sad to see that all these situations was promoted by the Democrats, was promoted by open border policies, was promoted by all these people that they were making billions of dollars out of this humanitarian crisis. It was so horrible. So we said, let's go in there, man. So we started walking, walking with the big backpack that you guys see me on the videos. Is wet. It is like possibly like 50 kilos, like 100 pounds wet. That's how much it weighs. But just walking and reporting what we see. On the first day, we saw a lot of migrants. We saw thousands. We saw more than 1,000, possibly. And we slept on the river on the first day. And all these migrants that we were seeing that were walking down from Ecuador, from Venezuela, from Colombia, from all parts of the world, all of them, they were telling us that we just got raped. We just got robbed. We just got raped. We just got robbed. We just got raped. We just got robbed. So it was just consistent of recording, raped, robbed, raped, robbed. So I was concerned at first. I was like, who's doing this? It was unimaginable. It was, who in the hell has the audacity to do these kind of crimes inside of the middle of the jungle? Must be an animal. And we slept the first day. On the other side of the river, it was more than 1,000 migrants sleeping, all of them vomiting late at night, coughing, sick, children crying, I want to go back home. Mom, I want to be with my dad. Dad, I want to be with my mom. I miss my brother. I miss my sister. Women crying, women arguing with the men arguing with the women. It was something that I was like a horror movie, because you're actually seeing the most vulnerable situations in human beings. And it demonstrates on an epicenter of a crisis that you think that it can never be. You had to be there for me to explain it, but it was just people crying consistently. I did a video late at night recording, like, can you hear that? Can you see? Can you hear what this sound is like? We went to sleep in a hammock, ate, rice with a little bit of chicken, and a piece of bread and some water, and of course coffee. One of the center front officials carries all the kitchen utensils and equipment and food, and we carry ourselves our food. We divided all the food to carry it by 8 people, so it will be less of a weight for every single one of us. And on the next day, we woke up at 5. Every time it was waking up at 5, getting ready, wash our face, wash ourselves, and get ready to start walking at 6 or before 6. And we start walking it before 6 at sunrise. And we start walking, and we start encountering migrant after migrant after migrant, more than 1,000. It was that second day. Uh, you know, and on the second day, I was concerned because we were getting closer and closer to the people that they were robbing, stealing, and raping. And the complaints were getting more aggressive. Aggressive as we just heard that a woman got raped in front of everybody. We heard gunshots, and the migrants were giving complaints more aggressive than the first day. It was second day was more aggressive, more. Sorry about that. As Lieutenant Guerra was in the front, leading the group, it's around 3 o'clock in the evening. We stop walking at 6 because there's no electricity inside of the jungle. So the daylight goes off at 6 o'clock. Then the monkeys start sounding, and animal wildlife starts coming out, right? So you have to be extremely careful with all the things that you are doing. Extremely careful where you're walking, extremely careful where you're putting your foot. You don't want to break an ankle, you don't want to be injured and become a liability. Instead of helping, you become a liability. And on the second day, we were documenting all these complaints about rape, abuse, rape, abuse, rape, abuse, robbed. And around 11 o'clock in the evening, 11 o'clock in the morning, we found ourselves in the middle of the jungle. We used to take breaks after walking 2 hours, 5-minute breaks, sometimes 10-minute breaks. And when we sit down to eat around 12, we sat down, we ate, we relaxed ourselves, and then we got up. You cannot relax that much because then your body will completely collapse in cramps, and it will completely collapse and be, immobilized because of the level of exhaustion and heat. And then you cool it down, and then you want to reactivate your body. It's just it's a consequence. It's aggravating with cramps, back spasms, and all this kind of stuff. So you have to be, moving every single time. And around 12, we sat down, and the complaints keep coming. We're sitting down in the middle of the jungle, we're eating, and migrants were coming down, and they were telling us, we just got robbed. So now the questions were, how far away are they located? So when the lieutenant started asking that, I said, oh, now we got an issue. And when he started asking that, and when he started asking it consistently to different migrants, I said, in my mind, I started thinking, we are about to encounter these people. There's no way that we're going to get out of this. And we got up, we grabbed our things, let's start walking, guys. Walking. 2 hours after hearing the same complaints, after going up in mountains, coming down in rivers, walking through multiple river streams, multiple difficult roads, rocks, mountains, mudslides, all this stuff. Every time migrants complaining, we got robbed, we got raped, we got robbed, we got raped. And around 3 o'clock in the evening, Guerra looks at me and he says, I need to talk to you. And I said, all right, we're going to take a 10-minute break, and I'm going to have a conversation with you alone. I don't want Ben in this because you know that he's kind of stubborn. And I said, all right. So he pulled me to the side and he said, there is an 80 to 90% possibility that we are going to have to act, and we're going to encounter these people. And I said, what do you mean by act? And he said, Oscar, we're going to have to arrest or take him down. And I said, whoa, really? It's like, yeah, they're not far away from here. We are almost a day away from them. Tomorrow, if everything goes as planned, around 2 o'clock in the evening, we're going to encounter him. It's like we're 12 hours away from them if they keep staying there. Because we were against the flow. The robbers and these criminals that were coming down with the flow. So there's no way that they knew that we were coming against the flow. Right? So they were, when they hit them, it was like a huge surprise. So on the next day, we woke up early again, early in the morning, 5 o'clock in the morning, put our boots on, put everything on. We prayed to God so much. Late at night, before we went to sleep in the hammock, Ben and I prayed to God. And we said, God, protect us, every single one of us. Nobody gets killed. Nobody gets shot. Let bad guys be arrested. You take the decision on the bad guys and protect the good guys, if you can. And on the next day, all the 6 Senate front officials and the 2 of us, we prayed before we started walking again. We did a long prayer because there was this aroma of possibility that we're going to encounter them. You know, there was this scent that, you know, you can feel the tension between us, that it was about to happen, that we were going to encounter them. Somebody saying, how can I donate? Thank you so much. Buy me a coffee. It is outside of the link. Let me see if I can put the link right there so you guys can donate. Thank you so much. I'm about to travel, and your donations and contributions are much needed, people. It will help me a lot. So I'm about to travel again to give you guys the reality and truth of the news, like I have always done. So let me try to put it right here on my YouTube channel before I continue with the story. Let me see. There you go. There you go. There you go. It's a pinned message right there on the Buy Me a Coffee link. You guys can contribute right there. Thank you so much. So God bless you, by the way. So on the second day, we started walking, right? And when we started walking, same complaints, people. Same ones. Same complaints. We just got robbed. We just got raped. We just got robbed. We just got raped. And it was like, holy moly, man. And we were getting much closer and much closer and much closer and much closer. The aggressions of these people, they were getting much difficult, disgusting, and much harder. And when we were like around 2 hours away from there, the aggressions and the complaints were more difficult and more dramatic because they just got robbed. They just recently got robbed and raped. And we were asking, how far are they away from us? And it's like 2 hours away. So when they said 2 hours away, the lieutenant pulled us aside and said, Oscar, I need to talk to my group. You stay here. We're going to come back. And he went and he has described to me what kind of talk he said to them. So he pulled them to the side and he said, you guys are prepared for this? There's no need for me to explain what you guys need to do. We are here to protect our land and protect our people and protect the people that they are vulnerable. Also, we are here to protect these journalists. Let's do the job. Let's take care of business. And this is what we're going to do. So they planted their strategy. He walked towards me and he talked to me and he said, I need to talk to you for a second. And I said, all right. He said, Oscar, we're 2 hours away from there. If we walk a little bit on a 75 to 80% pace, we're going to be an hour and 15 if we do it. Are you okay to walk at that pace? I'm like, I'm ready. And he said, okay. So he said, because we always walk at 60%, that is fast, you know, but now at 80 is kind of like, and with a huge backpack. So I said, okay, so what's going on? He said, well, we are this close. There's 100% possibility. Remember yesterday I told you there was 70, 80% that we can encounter them. Now it's 100%. So we're going to do the mission. we're going to ambush these people and we're going to arrest them. The word first was arrest, right? So we go and we start walking. I said, all right, let's God bless us all and protect us all, and let's do this. So we started walking, and at that time, I was talking to Ben, and I was like, "How are you?" And he looked at me and he's like, "I'm good." He's always good. My brother has always been a courageous man. I love him. I can consider him my best friend, one of my best friends. Um, and I can say to you guys with all honesty that he's uh, one of the most bravest men. I At that day, I said, "You got balls, man." He won my respect. And we were walking, and I said, "You all right?" And he said, "Yes, I'm good." I talked to him, personally. I said, "Let's not mess this up, but let's let them do their job, and we're here to just document what's happening. And if we get out of this one alive, it is going to be historic. It's going to help so many people. We're going to help thousands of people from not getting robbed, killed, raped, women, and also men. And also, we're going to send a message to the world of what they're actually doing." And he said, "Yeah, let's do this." Then we started walking. 10 minutes before we got close to them, we stopped. We were just 10 minutes away from them. Groups keep coming, saying we just got robbed, we just got raped. We got a little bit more close. We were 5 minutes away. So the lieutenant steps back and he says, "Oscar, this is what I'm going to do. I got my guys going straight left till we can have somebody as a sniper if they want to, pull away. I got one if they want to escape. Me and him, we're going to go around the whole river and catch them and ambush them and confront them face to face. 4, that's 1, 2, 3, 4. Yeah. One of them is going to be behind us in case he gets away. And one of them is going to stay with you." And I said, "Why with us?" "Because we don't want you to go in there." I'm like, "You got to be kidding me. You're not going to do this to me. The whole point is for me to record the heroic situation that you're about to do." And I told Ben that, and he got completely upset. I'm like, "No, we are here to do this job. This is what we are here to do, man. You're not going to prohibit this from us." It's like, "I'm sorry, you're not going to do it." I'm like, "No, we're not. We can go behind you and not block this mission and not interrupt this mission." And he said, "No." So we stayed back and we started like moving our heads. He went in, the lieutenant, then he came back and said, "We couldn't find him. We had an Indian guy from Panama with us the whole time. He was kind of our help with different routes from Bajo Chiquito, the village." And this guy told the lieutenant, "No, you missed it. It was just a little bit up, and then you go down, and bah, there they are. Go back." We stayed with the Indian guy. They said, like, "Okay, let's regroup." The lieutenant says, "Let's go with the mission." So they went off. And Ben and I, we looked at each other, and we had a Senate front official behind us. And we told the Senate front official, Montenegro, this guy right here. He's young. He's around, at that time, he was around 21 years old. One of the bravest Senate front officials that I ever met. So young and so strong and confident of himself. And he said, "Let's walk carefully, slowly, quietly. I'm behind you guys." So we had a Senate front official behind us. The Indian guy was in the front. Ben and I, we were crawling and walking so slowly. And we were watching migrants on the other side of the stream river, because we were in the other side of the river, walking and seeing us. And we were like, "Shh, stay quiet, stay quiet." And they were like, "Okay, go, 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 continue, continue, continue." All of them, they just got recently robbed and raped. But before that, before we started walking, I want to say something that clearly it has stayed in my mind, and it has become some kind of a a situation that is never going to go away from my head. Before we went in there, I was interviewing all these groups that they were just recently being raped and brought. And there was this case of these group of around 10 migrants, all of them from Venezuela, some of them from China. And I asked to the group, somebody got raped? The guy in the front said, a little girl all the way to the back. So I asked that little girl to come all the way to the front. And she came. She was with her boyfriend. She was only 19 years of age. She was crying. She was with her sister also, profusely, trembling, afraid for her life. She couldn't talk. And I was looking at her, and it's like, they abuse you. And she said, yes. She said, like this, crying. And then she grabbed her clothes, saying like they took away her clothes. Like, yeah. So I asked the sister what happened. And she, on the camera, said, there's three of them. One of them is really aggressive. The one that raped her is really aggressive. That's the one that has been raping a lot of women. This one tall one with curly hair. And the other one is a little bit shorter than him. He has also curly hair, but he has green eyes. They're Colombian. And there's another one that he is the boss. And he takes all the girls to a part of the mountain. And then they start screaming. And, it happens what happens. So I asked her, are you all right? Clearly she was devastated, destroyed. What kind of question is that? And I hugged her and I said, don't worry, you're going to get him. Don't worry about it. They're about to get him. And I promise you, they are going to get them. And she said, thank you. And she went away. That memory right there stays in my mind for the rest of my life. It's never going to go away. That really changed my whole perspective on immigration. Changed my whole perspective of how I was approaching immigration in so many ways. Caravans also started changing me in a lot of perspectives. And I started looking for the actual people that they were guilty of this provocation of people migrating through these irregular pathways that they were taking advantage and making a business out of it. So become more accurate, I had to have the whole experience. I had the experience now. And my statements had to be accurate. So after I saw her, then is when we started walking towards the criminals. We walk slowly. And as soon as we hear yelling, center front, stop, you are under arrest, we started hearing gunshots. The gunshots were from the criminals towards the center front officials. Bullets were flying on top of us. We're really close to the area because they were shooting everywhere. Actually, the criminals, they saw us from the other side of the stream of the river because they were looking and running and looking, and they saw as we were walking, and they were shooting at us, shooting at everywhere. And there was one particular incident. The guy that I just told you, the leader, the boss of these three groups, of these three people, he had a prey for him ready. He had a woman ready to be raped and abused. And when they surprised him, this guy, out of anger, shot the migrant in the stomach. And he started running away. And as he was running away in the middle of the jungle, he was shooting at the center front official. The center front official swerving to one side to another. And then he had to execute and neutralize the individual. And he was shot and killed, the bad guy. The other two were detained and stopped and arrested. After hearing all these gunshots in the middle, and we were in the middle of all this, guns flying on, bullets flying on top of us, we're recording everything. And as we arrived to the place, and the two criminals were underground, handcuffed, and all the 6 San Fran officials, we were there, we hugged each other like we accomplished something that God provided us that day, the pathway for us to record and document, for the San Fran officials to be heroes of the nation, and to actually destroy this narrative of these mercenary liberals that they were operating in Colombia and also in other parts, pandering to this situation that nothing was happening inside of the jungle, and there was the fault of the government of Panama. And we hugged each other like with a lot of energy. Yeah, we did it. We took them down. They're not going to steal from people anymore. Then we crossed the river to where they were raping and stealing, to document the evidence of what they were hiding. And the San Fran official who took the other bad guy down, he told Guerra, one down. And he said, what do you mean? He's like, oh, bad guy's done. So we went over there and recorded. He was like 27, 28 years of age. What is a 27 or 28-year-old doing in the middle of the jungle? Stealing, raping, and killing. Criminal life. Then we came back. And after we came back, we started seeing crossing the stream, migrants carrying a migrant woman injured from the stomach. I said, who's this? So I approached him. I said, what happened to you? She just got shot. That was the migrant that the bad guy was about to rape, and that he shot her in the stomach on purpose to kill her out of anger that he got caught. So she was bleeding. The bleeding was interior. You can't actually see the hole of the bullet. So luckily, Guerra, the lieutenant, it is a combat paramedic. And he completely controlled the situation. He had every single medication to save her life. And she was controlled. They gave her medication. They gave her everything that she needed for the control of the pain and for the bleeding to not profusely get out. She was covered with Band-Aids and she was protected and attended at the moment. We were nervous. I was really nervous because I was watching her right there and she was telling me I have a child. And I couldn't say to her, you should have thought about that before you came into the jungle. That's the most stupidest comment that I could ever say. But I said, everything is going to be good. God is going to help you to get out of this. And God is going to help you to go back to your child. And we saw the criminals that were laying down on the floor. And we saw all the evidence that they were stealing. You had more than 100 phones with them. You had thousands of dollars in the backpack. And you had all these food. They were stealing from them food. Gotta be kidding me. These were animals. Plain animals. That's what they were. And after we stayed there, Lieutenant Guerra had a call on the satellite. Guess what was happening in Bajo Chiquito? The director of San Fran, that he is a good friend of mine, his name is Oriel Ortega. He was there in Bajo Chiquito when we were encountering the bad guys. He was there with 2 ambassadors from I don't know what country, and with people from the United Nations and other, individuals, politicians from the United States. And the complaints were really hard. The complaints were, we're getting steal, we're getting raped, we're getting abused. He got really upset and he said, what is going on? Why are we allowing this? Why was, what's going on? Execute the mission. And they told him, sir, Lieutenant Guerra in the group with the two journalists, they just got them. And it was a huge accomplishment because it was shown to the world that actually a mission can be executed perfectly. One, stop these criminals. Two, the attacks on the Panamanian government and on the good people that they were trying to do their job completely shut down with that evidence, enormous evidence. Three, the whole migrant population, they were celebrating because a lot of the women were raped and abused and stolen and robbed and all this horrible things that can happen to you. So it was a huge thing. So now it was, how are we going to get the hell out of there? We were in the middle of the jungle. We were just like possibly a day getting out, almost crossed, completely. We were in the limitations almost of Panama and Colombia. So we crossed it. But we were in the middle of it, more than the middle of it, a little bit more further than that. So what the hell we're going to do now? And what we did was we said, you know what? Let's just pray to God again. We're praying. Lieutenant got a call on satellite, said we need to get extracted. There is an injured migrant. She has a bullet inside of her body. And, the journalists that were asking about the journalists, how are they? Are they doing okay? And so, yeah, they're good. So they sent 2 helicopters. One for the criminals, the 2 criminals, by the way, 23 and 24 years old. Both of them got 38 years in prison. And those were crimes against humanity. On the first helicopter, Ben got in with the injured migrant. On the second helicopter, I got in with the 2 criminals. And the 2 criminals, I said to them as I was in there, I said to one of the CENTCOM officials that was there, can I say something to them? And he said, go ahead. I said, hopefully, all these years that you're going to be inside of the prison, I will tell you that you need to look for somebody, and that is God. You need to look for him and ask him if he can forgive you and change your life, because what you guys did was crimes against humanity. We landed on the Medevac station. After we landed, there were officials from CENTCOM from the air force greeting us, and they were cheering that we just accomplished something that it was never accomplished in history. And they greeted us with all this respect, with all this love. And Ben and I, we hugged each other and we said, we did it. How are we going to expose this in the most responsible way? So they drove us into the hotel that we were staying, that it was the hotel close from there. I don't remember the name of the hotel, but it was in San Vicente. It's like a 45-minute drive. I got there. The head of communications called me. It was like a nonstop calling. And I answered the phone and I said, how you doing? And she's like, Oscar, for God's sake, are you all right? Yes, I'm good. What happened? Tell me the story. I said, look, I explained to her what happened. And I said, I'm going to put out a video. It is more than 2 days of hours of video. But I'm going to try to subtract those 2 hours into 3 to 5 minute video. After I do it, I'm going to send it to you. And you are going to tell me if you approve this to be published. By the way, it's going to have the logo and the watermark of our network, just so you know, because we were there. And she says, Oscar, I trust you. So I got the most important things on the video. I cut it, and it was 5 minutes. I couldn't make it more shorter because there was a lot of evidence. I said it's ready. About an hour and 30 minutes from where we were extracted, that it was around 4 o'clock in the evening. It was like 6 o'clock when it was ready. I sent it to her. She saw it. And she was like, she called me immediately. She said, "This is history, Oscar. This is history. We, let's pray to God that everything goes well. Where are you going to publish it?" I said, "I'm going to be in all my pages, but in particular, in TikTok, I'm going to upload it. And I know that it's going to blow up." Out of all the videos that I have done that they have gone viral, this one was special because it was something that it was exposed, the crimes against humanity, the assault, the rape, the confrontation, the bravery of being there, and documenting the suffering of these people, that it was horrible. And we arrived there, and I released the video on TikTok, on Instagram. And the video immediately on TikTok went not viral. It went super viral. It catch 26 million views. 26. It's like, holy cow. What a lot of people do not know is what happened after. We went in there 4 times. After it was super viral, 26 million views. A lot of people wanted me to come back to Panama and do a conference and do all these things. And I decided to pull out. Why? Because it was not my moment. It was the moment of the Centerfront officials and the migrants. It's not my moment. If it would have been another journalist, it would have taken that moment as an advantage for him. I said, no, it's not my moment. It's their moment. They are the heroes. We just documented and we went with the flow. And we try to do a professional job as we could. And there was so many interviews. So many. I did so many interviews, man. I don't remember. I don't even have the number. But the problem that I'm going to address right now, it is what happened, after this. It was the multiple attacks on my life. The individual who was killed, bad guy, he was part of an organization called Clan del Golfo. It was a cartel that just recently Donald Trump has designated as a terrorist organization. And the 3 individuals were from that organization. The threats that I was receiving via inbox in TikTok was astonishing, was incredible. These people literally wanted to chop my body in pieces. And they hated me because I just exposed the hell out of it like nobody else has done. And they were extremely upset of the fact that I was doing that. My page, when I went in there, it was at 40,000 followers at TikTok. In less than 2 days, it was at 700,000 followers in TikTok. It was unbelievable, the amount of people. It was incredible. And that page, it didn't last that much because you guys know TikTok, how sensitive and how liberal it is. So it didn't last that much. That page lasted possibly, after that, it lasted possibly like 3 months. It was consistently reported, consistently attacked. I was consistently being threatened. So after the multiple threats, that they were attacking me, I talked to Ben and I said, rainy season is going to come and it is going to be really bad in the Darien. We need to go back. And Ben told me, are you sure? Because these people want us dead, Oscar. They're not playing around. These people want us dead. And if they get an opportunity, they're literally going to kill us. And I said, yeah, I'm sure, let's go back, man. Our job there, it is not done. And we went back there the third time. And after that, we went back there the fourth time. And it is one of the experiences that I wanted to share with you guys. After that, getting out of the jungle, I had a little bit of nightmares for quite, a while about the adrenaline and the the emotional distress that we went through. The pressure of seeing so many people raped and abused. Later on, I received many messages of migrants saying, thank you. Although we know that that is not the correct way to migrate, we say thank you to you because you did something that nobody else did. You had the courage to go in there and record something that it was never have been recorded in a way that we never thought that it was going to be. Is that we didn't plan this. This was just, it was incredible. And couldn't done it without my brother, and my brother couldn't done it without me. I think that after that experience, it took a while for me to recover because I had to do it in 2 languages, right? And the language in English, it is pretty, like right now, it's informative and, it's more of informative report. In Spanish is more, it's exactly the same, but it's a different passion because I can understand correctly what a person is going through. So I know. And that was the thing that, when we went in there, the 4 times that we went in there, I told Ben, I'm going to do something in Spanish. You go ahead and do it in English. We need to do it in Spanish. So everybody in the world, will know, and the Spanish speaking people will know what's going on and how this administration is causing so much harm to people. And he said, go ahead, Oscar, do it in Spanish. I'll do it in English. But, there were some points that I did fractions in English. I had to do it. I had an English audience, massive. So I had to do some fractions in English. But after that, it was incredible how we were recognized by the authorities. It was something that I never going to ever feel in my life possibly again. Before we went, they gave us this honorary medal that has significance of you're part of us, Centerfront officials. The 6 Centerfront officials were honored by the president of Panama as Panamanian heroes of the nation. And after that, every time that I went to Panama, it was remarkable to go through an inspection point and there was a Centerfront official and they stopped us and they saw my face and they were like, hey, we need you to get out. So sometimes the first time that they started doing that, I look at Matthew and I was like, we're in trouble. We just got cleared with authorization to go through there. So like, let's just get out, Oscar. Matthew's such a calm, passive guy, really mellow guy. Let's get out, Oscar. Get out. Okay, I got out of the car. And I said, Comando, is there a problem? It's like, no. He says, like, everybody wants to take a picture with you. It's like, what? So yeah, everybody wants to take a picture with you. They feel that you are a great individual for them. You expose something that nobody else has done. So these people all the time, they used to stop us on the Centerfront officials used to stop us and take pictures with me. And it was, for me, it was an honor. I never felt more honored in my life than to people that in uniform asking me if they can say hello to their mother, or can you do a video for me to tell my son that I'm with you? And these kind of things were amazing. It was incredible for me. I felt so honored. And there was a particular love that we were doing things right. And God was with us every step of the way that we were doing this job. And that we were doing what he put us there to do. It was not us, it was him. All this time, we always pray to him that we never encounter bad people, that we never encounter bad guys, that we never encountered, death. And after that, it was completely different. I can tell you experiences like this, that every time that I went back to Panama and the immigration, when I arrived from Mexico City to Panama, where we sealed our passport with immigration officials, sometimes they used to stop me and say, hey, going back to the jungle, huh? I said, how do you know? Like, well, we know who you are. And as a matter of fact, that somebody wants to take a picture with you. And I said, wow, really? Yeah. Immigration officials want to take pictures with you, man. They think that you are, somebody special for them. And it was really special. It's really special. It was something that I can tell you that is our dedication and our ethic and our responsibility of information. It's not to win awards. If you're doing that to win an award or to be nominated for an award, you're an imbecile. You're an imbecile. Just that. If you're not doing it for the right to inform and for the narrative of God, then you shouldn't be there. And God knew that we were there for a reason. And it was to expose what we saw. That's our experience with that. I wanted to share with you guys that. How's everybody doing? Thank you so much for joining in. It is 8:41. Suzanne says, appreciate you so much and your love for God. It's so refreshing. Keep me in your prayers. Thank you so much. God bless you. God bless you. Thank you so much. Buy Me a Coffee is right there. Thank you so much, Suzanne. Thank you so much. Buy Me a Coffee is pinned right there in the chat. If people want to contribute to my independent reporting and travel fund, I greatly appreciate it. We're about to travel again. We just went to El Salvador and did an incredible reporting. I think that, the way that we reported that prison, it was completely different, But experiences like this, we're about to publish a book. As soon as it gets published, I'm going to start speaking at, rehab centers and also in schools and also in churches. I want to go in there and talk about second opportunities in life and how I've changed the perspective of and how this has impacted my life and how the impossible can be possible, how we need to be more human to each other. We need to educate the hearts to be more human, but also we need to educate the mind to be more conscious of just common sense. And I think that we are in that period of time in the world right now that we're still discovering that we're not there at all, as human beings. And we still have our, inefficiencies to adapt ourselves to what is common sense. It's what is actually happening inside of the United States of America at this particular point in juncture where, it's difficult. The United States is not what the United States of America used to be. But, with hard work and passion, and also with love for the country and love for what we do, that is our obligation to completely try to change the perspective and change the minds, change the heart. I have always thought about that. You can change whatever of a person, but if you don't change his heart, it will be the same person. We need to change our hearts. We need to be more human with each other. God bless you all. Thank you so much for joining in. Let me put this medal right here where it's supposed to go. Yeah. This way it's supposed to go. If you guys want to ask a question or a comment, go ahead. We are live streaming right now in YouTube and also on Facebook. I'm going to read your comments, but I got to put my glasses on, people. So sorry about that. It says 2 goats and a dog. Says, you're so appreciated, Oscar. Heartens me that we have warriors who love God on their fellows like you. Continue prayers. God bless you. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. Says, thanks, Oscar. Thank you so much. Thank you. Ron the Love 666. Thank you. And let's see right here. Judy. Oscar and Ben, you both have a huge heart. God bless you both. Stay safe. Thank you so much. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Let's see right here. Much love, brother in Christ. Thank God for Oscar. Thank you so much. Indigo Reina, how you doing, man? How are you? How are you? Hope that you're doing good. Good to see you, Oscar. God bless. Thank you so much, Nora Fontana. How are you? God bless you. Thank you so much for the support. Comments, questions, if you guys want to ask one, go ahead. You guys are, you guys are free to ask whatever you want to ask. Free to ask whatever you want to ask. I'm going to do a live in Spanish right now and try to do a live in Spanish to talk about this experience. I think it's important that we talk about these experiences. But did you ever catch these guys in the jungle? Yes. 2 of them, they got arrested and 1 of them got shot and killed. So yes, the 2 of them, they were caught. And 1 of them, it's not, in this life. Thank you, Oscar. God bless. The Darien Gap footage was spot on. Thank you so much. God bless you. What a great story of your reporting the atrocities of the Panama jungle. How did the Panama government allow this to happen? So horrible. It was not the Panama government. It was the Biden administration. Panamanians couldn't close their gap because the international organizations were, in there. United Nations, UNICEF, ACNUR, UNHCR, OIM, and they were supported by the Biden administration. So the Panamanian government begged the Biden administration to close their borders, and the Biden administration did not want to close the borders. Even Alejandro Mayorkas went down to Panama a couple of times, and he preached that he was not going to close the borders, that he wanted this. So he gave them the strategy of control flow. And this was more catastrophe. It was a catastrophe. More people were dying on this ideology of control flow. And then CBP one came up, and it was more horrible. So it was all the Biden administration. All of it was them. Joe Biden said, yeah, it's amazing now that you have these people that they are coming up with these ideas that Joe Biden is a better president than Donald Trump. I'm not, it's just stupid. The incompetence is never ending. Is the border really closed now? It appears to be. Yes, the majority has been shut down. You have still smugglers working in high profile, situations. But still, this is completely different. You literally brought us into the jungle with you as you were sharing this incredible story with us, Oscar. God bless you. Thank you so much. Well, I think that's about it. I'm going to call it a night. Thank you so much for joining me on this broadcast. I just wanted to talk to you guys for a little bit on this experience that we had, on this experience that we had inside of the jungle. And I think that it's important, to basically express what we were going through inside of this place. God bless you all. Stay safe. And like we always say, God's plan, it is our